Hello and welcome back to the Sideboard. I'm Ruben Bressler and I'm here with the sales lead for StarCityGames.com here in Washington, D.C., Chad Danielle. Chad, thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Ruben, for having me.
Yeah, no problem. You know, I just wanted to bring you into the Sideboard because I was having some discussions with you earlier, and I thought people at home might be interested to know the big sellers for the weekend, the popular cards, the movers and the shakers. We'll start with today, Legacy, since it's fresh on your mind. What are some of the more popular cards that surprised you, maybe a little bit, or maybe some that didn't?
Well, the one that didn't really surprise me, which a lot of people had predicted was going to be coming around, is the Graveyard Hate is coming back.
Sure.
The #1 sideboard card that we sold today was Grafdigger's Cage. It was, it sold far and above more than any of the other cards we had. Then some other cards I wasn't really seeing that came in was Perish. That one came in.
Perish is picking up a little bit of popularity because Maverick is coming back into popularity. It's a good way for the Merfolk decks and some of the other black-based decks, or decks that can even just splash black, to be able to deal with Nimble Mongoose.
Yeah, and then along that black theme, we also had Surgical Extraction that really picked up a lot today.
And a lot more Snapcaster decks.
And on the Artifact theme, also Ensnaring Bridge seemed to come back. We sold quite a few Ensnaring Bridges.
Really?
Yes, we did.
Interesting. So I guess that's sort of in response to Merfolk coming out?
Probably because, that of the blue subtype, then Merfolk was very popular across the board. All the variant, all the variable,
all the variant types.
Types.
Many of the Star City pros, Star City Blue and Black were playing Merfolk today. We also saw Evan Irwin playing on camera earlier. So I see you also have Forkbolt marked on your list.
Yes, that one did surprise me. I knew some red was coming into the format. I was surprised the number of Forkbolts that we sold, and they sold quickly.
It's sort of been in and out of the Rug Delver deck, but it's picking back up in popularity again because of Merfolk. Sure,
when you got a lot of small creatures to deal with, it's nice to be able to take out a lot of them at one time.
Now, another one you have written down here is Fairy Macabre. That's an interesting one. Why do you think, well, I mean, it's Grave Hate,
It's Grave Hate.
Uncounterable Grave Hate, mind you. I wonder what, well, I know it's in the Zoo sideboard to be able to deal with Reanimator, so perhaps people are just wanting to find an uncounterable Graveyard Hate.
I would assume so, because you've got a lot of things that are dealing with the graveyard these days.
Excellent.
Especially with the Rug Delver coming back. You want to be able to get rid of that the counter spell
or the specific type to boost the Tarmogoyf for shrink a Knight of the Reliquary a little, maybe, but more likely than not to get rid of Gristlebrand's.
Probably not so much right now, I don't think. And the best part about it, obviously, is it doesn't take any mana. And so people can't see it coming as well, and they think you might be tapped out. And so,
and I've also actually seen Fairy Macabres in the sideboard of Maverick because Maverick lists are running one Fauna Shaman. So that they can search up the Graveyard Hate.
And then on the land base, and again, this one I wasn't exactly seeing coming, was City of Traders. We sold quite a few City of Traders today.
A lot of the Sneak and Show decks, and in the sideboard of the Reanimator decks, when they sideboard into Show and Tell, as well as these Ensnaring Bridge decks. A lot of the Metalworker style decks are playing City of Traders. So let's move on to Standard. If you could tell me just a couple of the things from Standard that stood out to you.
Well, what we sold a lot of for some reason, I guess people wanting some free spells, was Gutshot and Gataxian Probe.
Always popular.
They're very popular.
Delver saw an uptick in popularity yesterday with 4 copies in the top 8.
And then also Trading Posts seem to be selling very steady.
Along
with your standard Bonfire of the Damned, Thragtusk, Talran, Sky Summoner.
Talran definitely picking up in popularity, sort of replacing Restoration Angel a lot of the time in the Delver decks.
Restoration Angel's sales weren't quite as high as they have been in the past. Talran definitely eclipsed Restoration Angel this time around.
And so last weekend, Elfwave saw a jump in popularity. Did you see a jump in the popularity of any of the Elfwave cards like Elvish Archdruid or Genesis Wave or even Craterhoof Behemoth?
We have sold some. I would say maybe playset to 2 playsets, 4 to 8 cards-ish. So that could be anywhere between 3 to 4 people probably picked them up depending on how many copies they needed of a given card.
And you had just real quickly, one last story. You had an interesting story about your biggest seller of the weekend.
One of our biggest sellers of the weekend, ironically, was Palancron.
Palancron.
Yes, Palancron.
But that's a misnomer because it was one guy.
It was pretty much one guy.
One guy came in and cleaned you out of Palancron.
He said he didn't have them in his area, and he thought that would be a good card to trade with, so he snapped them all up.
Yeah, well, I hope you at home can maybe use that information, or at least you found this entertaining. Chad, thank you for joining me in the sideboard.
Absolutely, anytime.
And we're going to be back for round 4 of Legacy after we toss to a quick deck tech with Eric Brown and his innovative Trading Stacks deck. We're live from Star City Games, Washington, D.C.